Soccer fans, AFC Ann Arbor is live and on the air. Welcome to Pioneer High School's Hollway Field for this USLW matchup between your AFC Ann Arbor Mighty Oak and Midwest United. Tonight's match is presented by Bank of Ann Arbor. Bank of Ann Arbor has been the title sponsor of the club since the first season. It was Bank of Ann Arbor's increased investment that allowed the club to expand with the addition of the women's team in 2019. Thanks to their continued support, both our women's and men's teams receive equitable support across all facets of the organization. Thank you, Bank of Ann Arbor, for all you do for our club and all of Washtenaw County. As the founding club of the Anti-Racist Soccer Club Coalition, AFC Ann Arbor is leading the efforts to combat racism in our sport and community. Visit antiracistSoccerClub.com to read the club's entire 10-point plan and learn more about the coalition, which includes members such as Oakland Roots, Vermont Green FC, and Lansing Commons FC. With initiatives like the CLR Academy, a free youth sports sampling program promoting holistic and healthy living run by AFC Ann Arbor players, along with athletes from the University of Michigan and Eastern Michigan University. CLR Academy was created in partnership with Washtenaws My Brother's Keeper to better serve young black and brown children across Washtenaw County. We are here for a USLW matchup between Midwest United and AFC Ann Arbor. Let's take a look at a little bit about both of these squads. And as we pull up, AFC Ann Arbor is 3-0-1 on the season. They have yet to lose a game. They started off with a 1-1 draw at Kalamazoo back on the 12th. They beat Kalamazoo then here at Hollway Field 1-0. Then it was a 3-1 win versus Cleveland back on the 24th. That was over at Concordia. Then they beat Michiana. That was 3-1. That was at Michiana. Now they're back at home for this contest versus Midwest United. The last game versus Michiana, let me pull up some details on that so we can tell you who scored. As Komori started off the scoring in the 27th minute, yellow card to Koch. And then Kopmeyer scored at the 60th minute, becoming the youngest player in AFC Ann Arbor club history to score. That was previously Chloe Ricketts, who was the youngest player in USLW history at that point in time to score. Now Kopmeyer scoring just a little younger. So Ricketts with playing with Washtenaw, doing a fantastic job with the Spirit, and hopefully Kopmeyer, obviously the ceiling, the sky's the limit for Kopmeyer. Barra scored in the 62nd minute. And then Palmer took a yellow card in the 79th minute. So that's the 3 goals there. Michiana Lions did score. Thomas scored in the 52nd minute. Sibley took a yellow card in the 17th. Lurch took a yellow card in the 90th. So that's a little bit about AFC Ann Arbor. Taking a look at Midwest United. They started off back on the 19th with a 4-0 win over Michiana. Then they had a 1-0 win over Kalamazoo on the 22nd. They hosted that one. Then they visited Michiana back on the 26th, and that was a 5-1 win by Midwest United. Then they hosted Flint City AFC. That on the 30th, Flint City beat them 3-1. That was the last game match that they had. Taking a look at the match details on that contest versus Flint City. Worthman was the lone scorer for Midwest United. That was in the 90th minute. Otherwise, just some substitutions listed there. As on the other side, Giattino scored on the 21st minute for Flint City. Then 4 scored on the 25th minute. Then Cadwell scored in the 41st minute. And a yellow card to Canada in the 64th minute. So that's a little bit about the Midwest United. Let us take a look now. And I'm going to pull a few things up here. But let's take a look at first the next 5 games for this women's squad, as they'll be we do have 10 games between or 10 days between home games here, as on June 6th The women's squad will visit Midwest United. That will be a Thursday, so back-to-back games with them. That'll be 7 p.m. if you want to go and cheer on over on the west side of the state. Then they will go on Saturday the 8th over to Detroit City FC. That is a 4 o'clock game. We'd love to see a whole bunch of the Main Street Hooligans and a whole bunch of AFC Ann Arbor fans out at Atwood Stadium. Then they're back June 12th. That's going to be the next home game Wednesday, where they'll host Flint City AFC. That's a 7 p.m. game. They stay at home on June 16th. That's a Sunday. They will host Michiana at 3 p.m. Then they go on the road on June 22nd. That will be a 2 p.m. game at Cleveland. So again, that next home game, the next home match, both the men's and the women's team will be on the road for a little bit. It's going to be in 10 days, the 12th. At 7 p.m., as that will be AFC Ann Arbor hosting Flint City AFC. Taking a look at the standings, Detroit City FC is up at the top. They've played 4 games. They've won 4 games, 12 points and 3 points per match. AFC Ann Arbor is in the second spot, playing 4 games. They have won 3 and had 1 draw. They have 10 points and 2.5 points per match. Midwest United right behind them. They've played 4 matches. They've won 3, lost 1. That's 9 points with the 2.2 points per match. Kalamazoo FC is in the number 4 spot, playing 6 matches, 3 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. 10 points for them with a 1.6 points per match. Flint City AFC has played 5 games, 2 wins, 3 losses, 6 points, and a 1.2 points per match. Cleveland has played 4 matches, lost 4 matches. They don't have any points. And Michiana has played 5 matches and lost 5 matches, no points and no points per match at this point out there. So big battle up at the top. The top 3-4 teams really kind of all gathered together there, and AFC Ann Arbor has an opportunity here to put a little distance between them and Midwest United. They're playing back-to-back games versus them, a home and home. Their next game is on the road at Midwest United, so they can clear a little bit of room before they play Detroit City and try and battle for that top spot. We do want to thank all the wonderful, amazing sponsors of AFC Ann Arbor. Now, if you do come and purchase a Kids Club membership, AFC Ann Arbor will donate $5 for each purchase to the PTO Council. If you want to wear the jersey the team wears, check out, we want to appreciate Diaza, the team apparel partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Check out the new 2024 jerseys available at the merch booth in youth, men's, and women's sizes. You can also order them at afcannarbor.com. And the tree canopy jersey is now available. It looks great. Matt Altruda is wearing it here in the press box today and looking fantastic with that, so you can certainly check that out. 3-in-1 Fitness is the official fitness partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Check out 3-in-1 Fitness on South Industrial next to Revel and Roll. Train where the team trains. Check them out at 3in1fit.com. Bank of Ann Arbor, of course, the title sponsor of AFC Ann Arbor. We want to thank the Bank of Ann Arbor for their continued support and all of the help to all of Washtenaw County. Whitfield Properties is the official housing partner of AFC Ann Arbor. We want to thank Whitfield Properties for 9 years of support, housing visiting players of AFC Ann Arbor. We'd like to thank the Ann Arbor District Library for their incredible support of the Mighty Oak and for all they do for the Ann Arbor community. Make sure you check out a book and check out the Ann Arbor District Library. It's more than just books now. Lots of items. You can even check out a DVD and more. Units Moving and Storage, official storage partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Call Units Moving and Storage for your storage and pod needs. Visit unitstorage.com. Destination Ann Arbor and the Ann Arbor Sports Commission, the official tourism partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Destination Ann Arbor supports our vibrant community by promoting Ann Arbor as a destination of choice for travelers. Check them out at annarbor.org. Soccer Shots, the youth training partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Visit the kids' play area hosted by our friends from Soccer Shots. And Ann Arbor with Kids, your go-to source for Ann Arbor family fun. Find fun activities, events, deals, and more family fun at AnnArborWithKids.com. There is the Goal for Trees initiative this season for every goal. Initially, it was 3 trees donated. And through last game, it was 15 goals out there. Promoli, who had a hat trick versus Cleveland, she's in the tied in the lead with 3 goals. Direction has 3 goals from the men's squad as well. And so that turned out to be 15 times 3. That's 45 trees. And then DTE is going to double that. So DTE is going to match the tree donation. All of these trees get donated to the Ann Arbor Park. So instead of 45 trees, 90 trees so far donated to the Ann Arbor Parks for the Ann Arbor Bicentennial. Nothing scored yesterday as it ended up a 0-0 match between AFC Ann Arbor's men's squad and Michiana. No goals for trees scored yesterday. We're hoping AFC Ann Arbor can get a few more today in this matchup versus Midwest United. We're going to step away for a brief moment, play just a little bit of quick music, and then as soon as the teams come out of the locker room, we'll switch over to our fantastic public address announcer and I do have the starting lineups actually, so I can go over that really quickly. Yep, I do have it. So starting off for Midwest United, number 1 is Okarafu. Number 2 is Kata. Number 3 is Albert, starting. Number 5 is Dalton, starting. Number 10, Dalt, starting. Number 11, Worthman, starting. Number 12, Welsh is starting for Midwest United. Blackburn, number 16, Vance, number 19. Number 21, Thomasma. Number 22, Wilson. Those are the starters' reserves. Zimmerer, number 7. 18, Metja. Wieringa, number 20. And here comes the teams. So we'll get more of those lineups in a moment with our public address announcer.
Here are tonight's starters for Midwest United. Number 2, Madison Kata. Number 4, Olivia Albert. Number 5, Regan Dalton. Number 10, Olivia Dalt. Number 11, Abigail Worthman. Number 12, Catherine Welch. Number 16, Jenna Blackburn. Number 19, Meredith Vance. Number 21, Heidi Tamasama. Number 22, Megan Wilson. And in goal, number 1, Isabel Okorofo. Your coaches for Midwest United are Joe White, Doug Barrow, Stuart Gibbons, Benjamin Robbins, and Brian Tepor. Now, let's meet the starting 11 for your Mighty Oak. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting your Mighty 11. Number 3, Emily Eichmann. Number 5, Sandra Peterson. Number 6, Tiara Premoli. Number 8, Amy Komori. Number 10, Natalia Soba. Number 11, Katie Fau. Number 13, Allie Melina. Number 14, Claire Cahalan. Number 15, Lena Berra. Number 19, Tika Zelli. And in goal, number 1, Rebecca Priscillo. Your assistant coach for AFC Ann Arbor is Victor Place, and in his second year as head coach, Kevin Taylor.
As there is your starting 11. Let's bring that down just a little bit as both squads Giving a little fist bumps to the officials. Ografu heads over as Midwest United will gather up with their coaching staff on the sideline over on the just off the far touchline. AFC and Arbor getting ready for a nice photo with the starting 11 right after the captain's done speaking with the officials. The crowd's still coming in as it's a bit of an earlier game than yesterday, of course, but we have folks filing in here. You still have some time to catch plenty of action if you head on down to Hollway Field. So you have a few folks from Midwest United out there as well. Photo taken of the mighty 11. And now AFC and Arbor runs over to their sideline to get last-minute instructions. Officials right at midfield. Quadruple zeros up on the clock, and we are about to start to get things going here. It looks like we don't have any of the youth soccer teams with us at this moment to be the ball boys and ball girls down there. So the ground crew for AFC and Arbor getting the yellow shirts over the AFC and Arbor shirts. And we'll work the sidelines there. Appreciate you joining us wherever you are watching. Thank you very much for supporting either of these teams. We're very, very grateful. Here comes another fantastic USLW matchup. All set right at inside the center circle. Ann Arbor going from left to right here in this first quarter. Soba, or first half Soba, gets herself set up. Is getting going. Kamori over on the near wing. Barra over on the far wing. A gray, cloudy day, 73 degrees at game time temperature. So a little less warm than it has been all week. Again, it isn't very cloudy, but we're going to hope that we don't have any rain. It kind of sprinkled throughout a lot of yesterday's game as that's fired ahead by Cahalan. Moved down by Soba. Soba gets it over to Permoli. Permoli, and it's stolen away, trying to head the other direction is Blackbird. And fired. Launched all the way down onto the near wing. Picked up back there by Worthman. Worthman trying to bring it up the near touch line. That's knocked away. Is Kamori trying to pull that back. Eitzman with some good challenge back there. Pull back over to Albert. Albert has it our own side of midfield. Rolls it over onto the far wing. And grabbed over there. Brought ahead by Wilson. Wilson launches it all the way down. That's headed back. Cahalan moves it over onto the far wing. That brought ahead by Barra. Barra races, moves it over midfield. Grabbed over onto the far wing, trying to chip it back over. Barra moves it as that's sent right back. There's Molina over on that far wing. Rolls it back into the midfield area as Fauk. Over, Cahalan lets it go over to Eitzman. Eitzman tips it, trying to move it ahead. That grab coming down the near wing. Here comes Midwest United as they launch it all the way back. And it's going to come up, down onto the near wing. Grabbing it there is Welsh. Welsh looking for a cross as she moves it towards the middle of the pitch. That knocked away. Good job by Cahalan there. Now coming ahead with it. And Kumori down the near touchline. Tipped back over. Grabbing it, here comes Permoli. Permoli launches it ahead. Grabbed by Barra. Barra trying to get around traffic. Barra just outside the top of the 18. That fire deflected off. Here comes Kamori. Kamori fires it. Oh, it's just wide to the far post. Good opportunity. Good battle back there. Barra and finding Kamori. That one just went wide to the far side. Goal kick by Okarafu. Moves it over onto the far wing for Midwest. We are in the 3rd minute here at Hollway. Field still scoreless. Brought over by Wilson. Down on the far side of the pitch. Wilson heads towards the middle third. Soba out to challenge. That launched all the way back into the 18. Grabbed there by Prisbillo. Prisbillo bounces it. Comes out to the edge of the 18. Prisbillo now launches it as that comes over midfield down on the far side of the pitch. Barra racing over, trying to get to it. Battling back there is Kato. Goes out the far touchline. That is going to be a throw-in for Midwest United as Kato quickly throws it down the far touchline. Racing ahead with it, trying to get over there. Blackburn. Battle for it on the far touchline. That's sent right back into Midwest United defensive third. Now Cahalan over to Promoli. Heads it down. Midwest United sends it back over to their defense. Picked up there by Albert. Albert moved over. Albert gets it back. Albert from Wilson. Comes up the center of the pitch. Now back over to Wilson. Wilson launches it. That all the way down in the attacking third. Heitzman heads it back over. Cahalan plays it down. Cahalan over to Kamori. Kamori up the near wing. Kamori trying to get it right to this midfield. That pulled away. Coming the other direction is Tamasma. Now coming in center of the pitch is that shot and a score. As Midwest United put one in, trying to verify who scored that, as looks like that was number 10, Dalt, who put it in. That was from the top of the attacking third, and just really good placement up into the upper right-hand corner. And in the 4th minute, so Dalt opens up the scoring. 1-0 Midwest United here in the 4th minute. And down, Eitzman has it on the near wing. Eitzman over to Cahalan. Cahalan to Kamori. And played back. Kamori grabs it right at midfield. Knocked away by Worthman. Now all the way back over to Wilson. Wilson brings it up the middle third. Over onto the far wing. Grabbed there by Kata. Kata right to midfield. Now that launch down on the near wing over to Vance. Vance brings it up the near side of the pitch. Vance cuts towards the center of the pitch. Now back outside. Vance trying to feed it over to Worthman. Worthman centering. That chipped by Cahalan all the way back out the near wing. Into the near corner. Kumori trying to head it back. That goes out the near touchline. That's going to be a throw-in for Midwest United. Vance on the near touchline. And knocked away. Good job by Promoli. Now launched back into the middle third. Racing back to get it is Wilson. Wilson has it just inside the middle third. Soba providing pressure. That back over to Okarafu. Okarafu over to Albert. Albert up the near side of the pitch. Albert approaching midfield. Cuts to the center of the pitch. Now launches it all the way down. Vance trying to get to it, but that's going to go all the way towards the end line. Stopped there by Prisbillo. She'll grab that and head out towards the edge of the 18. We're in the 6th minute here, and it is 1-0 Midwest United with a goal in the 4th minute to open up the scoring. Prisbillo launches it, lofts it all the way down the pitch, headed by Barra. That goes all the way back into the Midwest United defensive third. And will go out the end line. That'll be a goal kick as Okarafu will get it set up at the 6. Okarafu over to Albert. Albert heads up the near wing. Albert heads towards the center of the pitch, moves it over on the far wing to Wilson. Wilson back over on the near wing to Albert. Albert. Promoli showing pressure. Now Wilson up the far wing. Wilson over on the far touchline. That grab by Kata. Kata trying to launch it out, and that will be a throw-in on the far touchline. Kata with it there. And here in the 7th minute, 1-0 Midwest United with the lead as that's rocketed away by Ticazelli. Now lifted all the way down the pitch. That's headed the other direction by Albert. Played down. Here comes Midwest United. Cahalan providing pressure on Dalt. Now picked up on the far wing, trying to come through. Good job to knock it away by Peterson. Now that's sent down the far touchline, moved over. Faug sends it all the way down for Barra. Barra trying to get to it. Barra has it just outside the end line. Berra trying to send a cross, and that picked up by Okarafu. Okarafu gets it set on the edge of the 6 there. And moved over onto the near wing. Bringing it ahead is Albert. Albert back over to Wilson. Wilson over to Albert on the near side of the pitch. Albert again back over to Wilson on the far side of the pitch. Soba coming over to provide a challenge. That rocketed right back over midfield. Trying to move it ahead. Back over there was Blackburn. And to grab it. Good battle. Fouled back over there. That is going to be Midwest United. Will have a free kick. Just inside the far touchline. Just over midfield here in approaching the 9th minute. Midwest United up 1-0. Cotto launches it into the attacking third, coming over as that will go out the end line a few feet towards the outside the far post. That will be a goal kick as Prisbillo will get it set at the 6. Here in the 9th minute. Prisbillo raises both hands. Light breeze here at Hollway Field today, nothing too crazy. We said gray, cloudy skies such as late spring, early summer in Michigan. Battle for it over onto the far wing, trying to bring it back over there. Blackburn knocked down. Battle for it as that's sent back. That'll go right on the edge of the 18, rolled over by Okarafu. Over onto the near wing for Albert. Albert races up the pitch. Albert into the middle third, down onto the near wing, over to Vance. Vance over midfield. Vance trying to rocket it through, racing over, trying to get to it is Welch. Welch with the cross. That's knocked away. Good job by Eitzman to take that out of harm's way. Still battling for it. Promoli steals the ball away. Promoli trying to get it into the middle third. Over to Berra. Berra trying to get it back. That's grabbed and over to Komori. Komori launches it. Now racing ahead. Trying to get there is Faug, and that knocked away. Good play by Midwest United to stop a good opportunity for Ann Arbor. Rolled back over by Worthman. Now that going down as Thomas had it. She ends up down on the pitch. That'll be a free kick here from Midwest United in the 10th minute. 1-0. Midwest United with the lead here at Hollway Field. Ann Arbor would love to get this game level. Played down by Eitzman. Down on the near wing. Komori has it. Komori over to Cahalan. Cahalan trying to get it to Promoli. Now Soba trying to move it back. Soba sends it back on the defensive side, but a whistle there. And Cahalan's going to bring it ahead for a kick for Ann Arbor here in the 11th minute. Cahalan, right foot into it, blasted. Cahalan plays for University of Toledo during the collegiate season. Rolled back over. Now plucked up. Over onto the near wing as that's sent over. Eitzman trying to get it out. As Ticazelli moves it over onto the far wing. That out the far wing, that will be a throw-in out the far touchline by Midwest United. Ball for Cahalan trying to battle back over there with Dalt. As that ball launched, played down by Eitzman. Eitzman trying to bring it ahead. Eitzman into the middle third. Eitzman feeds it as Soba moves it right back over onto the far wing. Faug trying to feed it ahead to Berra. Berra trying to get around 2 defenders. And right back at midfield as Midwest United gets it back over to their defenders. Vance brings it up into the middle third. Vance sends it back over to Weatherman. Weatherman over to Albert. Albert over onto the far wing to Wilson. Wilson back to Albert. So just inside the middle third. Albert back over to Wilson. Wilson up the far wing. Wilson moves it right to midfield as Kata trying to get it ahead. That pulled back. And Midwest United has it. Sent down the near side of the pitch over to Vance. Vance trying to move it ahead. That grab by Dalton. Dalton launched all the way back. Excellent job again on the near wing defensively by Eitzman. Ball moved over to Albert just inside the middle third. Albert launches it all the way back into the attacking third for Midwest United. Over to Weatherman. Weatherman, good job by Iceman to dispossess her, and that fired out. Couldn't tell if that was out the end line or looks like it's out the touch line, so that'll be a throw-in. Knocked down, and they'll go out the touch line again. Throw-in for Midwest United. Vance on the near touch line with the throw-in. Vance trying to arc it into the 18. Promoli, as that's popped up high, back there by Faug. Soba heads it back over midfield. Racing over to get it is Albert. Albert just on her own side of midfield. That over to Wilson. Wilson arcs it down onto the far side of the pitch. That will go out the far touchline, deep in Ann Arbor's defensive third. Peterson with the throw-in on the far touchline. We're here approaching the 14th minute. 1-0 Midwest United with the lead. Ann Arbor has it in the middle third as Faug over to Cahalan. Cahalan trying to get past traffic as she's battling Dalton back there. Cahalan doing some nifty work to get through traffic. Over to Faug. Faug ahead to Barra. Back over to Faug. Faug rolls it now. Peterson. Peterson arcs it down the pitch, trying to get it to Kamori. Kamori. And popped up high. Over there grabbing it is Thomasma. Out the far touchline. And will be a throw-in for Ann Arbor. And in the middle third. Midwest United side of the middle third. That tipped ahead over there by Peterson. Over to Barra. Barra trying to move it back over to Faug. Now Peterson moving it down the far touchline over to Soba. Soba trying to work her way around. That goes out the far touchline. Throw-in for Midwest United as Kata has it on that far touchline. Kata arcs it right towards midfield. Played down, trying to get to it as Welsh. Now that sent the other direction by Ann Arbor as Soba takes a little push from behind. That turns into a free kick for Ann Arbor. As we're in the 15th minute, 1-0, Midwest United with the lead. Ann Arbor wants to get this game leveled. Peterson will have this kick just inside the middle third. Over on the far side of the pitch. Peterson. Waiting for everyone to get ready, waiting for the whistle. The officials get themselves set. There's the whistle. Here comes the kick by Peterson as that arcs into the 18 as that was headed back by Midwest United off of Eitzman's head. Now that launched down the near side of the pitch. Racing ahead with it as Tika Cazelli trying to get to it. And it's lifted all the way back, headed back over there by Blackburn, deep into the defensive third. Rolled over as Molina trying to get to it there. Back ahead to midfield. Soba lifts it over. Promoli ahead. Promoli trying to launch it for Barra. Barra coming down the far side of the pitch. Barra trying to get around Kata as that will. And I think they're going to say that that went out the far touchline. If not, Okarafu had it. Thought I heard a whistle there, but yeah, now they'll have a throw-in on that far touchline. I'm not completely crazy, just a little bit. Throw-in over there by Kata. And she gets it over to Okarafu. Okarafu on the near wing to Vance. Vance rolls it back over. That grab by Albert. Albert trying to launch it ahead. Headed down by Cahalan on the near touchline. Moved over by Vance. Now trying to feed it down the near touchline. That rolled by Worthman out the near touchline. That's going to be a throw-in by Eitzman. Eitzman arcs it down into the attacking third. That headed back and right out the near touchline. That'll be a throw-in again by Eitzman. 17th minute here, 1-0. Midwest United with the lead. Eitzman with the throw-in on the near touchline. Eitzman trying to arc it to Promoli. That headed back by Midwest United. Tipped high, trying to move it over to Welsh. Welsh trying to turn on it. Welsh gets over midfield. Welsh racing down the middle of the pitch into the attacking third. Welsh, ooh, good job by Molina to get in the way. That deflects back into the middle third. Now Barra over there. a good challenge against Temesma. Over Kumori with it. Kumori heads the other direction for Ann Arbor. Kumori in the middle third, trying to get it into the attacking third. Kumori uses her body, protect the ball. And back over. Launched ahead. Tikazelli. And move it ahead. Now that's sent right back to midfield by Midwest United. Collecting it, Worthman. Worthman heads towards the near wing. Now launches it over to the far wing, and that is going to go out the far touchline. Peterson over to throw that in. Peterson. It's the ball over to Molina. Molina arcs it up the pitch. That headed up by Midwest United. And collision there, as I think Soba ended up going for the head as well. And that's going to be a kick for Midwest United, as Wilson will have it right at midfield. Over on the far side of the pitch, Wilson. Now takes a couple steps back, Wilson. There's the whistle, right foot into it, moves it over onto the near wing to Albert. Albert up the near wing, sends it down the near touchline, over to Vance. Vance trying to bring it ahead. Vance into the edge of the 18. Vance puts it down onto the near wing. That fired all the way over as that's deflected, and might have got hit off the field goal post there. Has a good opportunity that that was offside, wasn't it? Yeah, there we go. Launched ahead by Prisbillo. Over to just over Soba's head. Albert back to get it. Albert sends it over to Okarafu. Okarafu back on the near wing to Albert. Albert up on the near side of the pitch. Albert gets it over to Vance. Vance comes up the near touchline. Vance cuts towards the center of the pitch. Vance trying to make a move. Turning on it back over there is Welch. Welch. Good job knocking that away. Tikazelli moves it ahead right to midfield. Over Kumori. Sends it down the near side of the pitch. Promoli trying to get to it, but Wilson there first. Gets it over to Okarafu. Okarafu in the 18. Here in the 20th minute at Hollway Field. Midwest United 1. Ann Arbor 0, as there's a shot that goes just wide to the near side by a few feet by Soba. That will be a goal kick. Okarafu gets it set on the 6. Over to Albert. Albert. Over on the far wing, over to Wilson. Wilson. And to move it ahead down the far touchline, over to Kata. Kata arches it over. And it's trying to get to it. Molina pops it up high right at midfield. Played back over to Welch. Welch trying to turn on it, coming down the far touchline. Welch into the attacking third. And launched into the 18, and Prisbillo will let it go out the end line. Goal kick for Ann Arbor here in the 21st minute. 1-0 Midwest United with the lead. Again, the crowd filing in as even more Main Street hooligans come in. Love to see it, and we're starting to get a good crowd here. Again, a little earlier game than last night. And Cahalan does a nice job to steal that away, but that pulled back by Dalton. And it's going to be a free kick, but yellow card. So that was a yellow card to Midwest United. I did not see who that was on. Yeah, I hope our folks in the scorers box.
Yellow card on Midwest United, number 10, Olivia Dalt.
That's going to be on Dalt, the goal scorer. Right? She was the goal scorer. No, sorry, the goal scorer. Yeah, that was Dalton. All the way back, pulled over, trying to fire it ahead. Dalton, played back over by Welch. Now up the near side of the pitch, racing ahead with it. Here comes Vance. Vance up the center of the pitch. Vance into the attacking third. Vance moves it all the way over to Worthman. Worthman firing it. That off the field goal post, so that will be a goal kick as it went out. Midwest United 1-0. They've had a couple good opportunities. Ann Arbor with a couple solid chances on the other side, but remains Midwest United with the 1-goal lead here. Again, the announcement that DTE matching the goals trees for goals. So it was 3 trees per goal donated to Ann Arbor Parks. It is now 6 trees per goal. So at this point, with 15 goals, it is 90 trees donated by both AFC Ann Arbor and DTE for the Ann Arbor Parks. Ann Arbor hoping to get 3 more trees earned here pretty quickly. Peterson trying to get to it. That play back moved over to Dalton. Dalton up the middle third. Dalton launches it into the attacking third. Played down by Eitzman. Eitzman over to Kamori. Kamori ahead trying to get to Promoli. That back over to Promoli by Soba. Soba rolled over. Here comes Faug. Faug back over to Peterson. She loses an edge, but that fired ahead. Down the near touchline. Bear ends up down on the pitch. And fired back by Kato over to Okarafu. Over on the far wing, over to Wilson. Wilson trying to get around Barra. Barra with the challenge. That over to Kata. Kata up that far wing. Barra back over to challenge. Ahead to Dalton. Dalton up the center of the pitch. Dalton gets it right down the midfield stripe. Now launched ahead back over there. As that'll be grabbed. Welch with it. Welch with a cross all the way over onto the far side. And will go out the far touchline. Throw it by Ann Arbor as Peterson will have it on the far touchline. Trying to get it over to Blackburn. Another good opportunity for Midwest United here in the 24th minute. 1-0 Midwest United as that's launched all the way back into the defensive third. Okarafu with it there. Okarafu moves it over to Albert. Albert trying to get around Kumori, providing pressure. Now Soba coming to challenge Okarafu, who moves it over to Wilson. Barra over there quickly. Ball moved over to Vance on the near wing. Vance brings it up the near side of the pitch. Vance over midfield. Fakes a cut to the mid. Back over onto the near wing. Back to Albert. Albert gets over midfield. Albert over to Vance on the near touchline. Vance trying to dribble. That knocked away. Good job by Kumori and Promoli to knock that away. That is going to be a throw-in for Ann Arbor here in the 25th minute. Eitzman with the throw-in. Eitzman ahead. Kumori launches it over. Soba trying to get to it. That headed back by Albert. Now popped up high over there by Thomasma. Now Molina has it on the far wing. Over to Cahalan. Cahalan moves on the far side of the pitch. That brought ahead. Launched all the way back into the attacking third. Barra trying to get to it, but offside the call. As that will be Midwest United's ball. As you can hear the Midwest United fans happy with that call. AFC Ann Arbor fans not so much. It was close, but offsides. Fair call. Here in the 26th minute, 1-0 Midwest United with the lead over Ann Arbor. Wilson launches it all the way deep into the attacking third. Over onto the near wing, trying to get to that. That's Worthman. Worthman dribbling to her left, trying to get the shot away, and that goes out wide by about 5 feet to the far post. Brisbillo gets it back, set at the 6. Brisbillo gets some room to work. And to let everyone get up the pitch a bit now. Brisbillo arcs it down the far side of the pitch. That just over Barra's head and out the far touchline. Barra couldn't quite get it. Valiant attempt as that's into Dalton. Dalton arcs it ahead. Right in the middle third. Now moving over Midwest United. Finding Vance. Vance on the near wing. Vance trying to feed it back deep to Worthman. That out the near touchline. Throw in by Midwest United. Worthman quick. Sense of urgency trying to move it over as Welch trying to get to the center of the pitch. Promoli with a really good challenge moves it back over. Fire it back. Ticazelli gets it all the way back into the middle third. Now Wilson over on the far wing. Soba trying to get that away from her. Brought ahead by Kata. Kata. Back towards midfield. Battle with it there. Thomasma trying to get to it. Controlled by Cahalan. Now moved all the way back over to Molina. Molina trying to avoid pressure. Molina fires it back into the 18. Brisbillo with it there. Midwest United trying to get heavy pressure in the attacking third. Ticazzelli moves it over to Eitzman, back to Ticazzelli. Eitzman on the near touchline, back to Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli lofts it as that volleyed right back into the attacking third by Midwest United. Move back over to Worthman. Centering attempt, good job to knock it away by Promoli. Worthman trying to get it back, sent over by Dalton on the near side of the pitch. Now launched by Welch down onto the far wing as that's fired down and out the near touchline as that went just past and a little wide to the near side. Brisbillo with the goal kick here in the 28th minute. 1-0 Midwest United with the lead here. It was a goal in the 4th minute by Dalt that opened up the scoring. And this is a big Mental Health Awareness Day. We'll try and read a little bit more about that at halftime. Sent down by Kumori, down onto the near wing. Eitzman comes back with it. Eitzman sends it over her own shoulder, down to Promoli. Promoli over to Kumori. Kumori up the near touchline. Kumori heads towards the center of the pitch. Can't quite get it past 3 defenders for Midwest United. Played over by Vance. Now back to Vance on the near touchline, right at midfield. Vance trying to send it down the near touchline, deep, racing over, trying to get to it was Welch. Welch heads towards the center of the pitch. That grabbed over by Dalt. Knocked over onto the far wing, trying to work away in his Blackburn right to the goal mouth. Picked up by Brisbillo. Brisbillo bounces it a few times, heads out to the edge of the 18. 29th minute here. As Brisbillo fires it away, 1-0 Midwest United with the lead. Soba with it in the middle third. Gets it over to Promoli. Promoli heads it back over to Eitzman. Eitzman just inside the middle third. Back to Cahalan. Cahalan trying to move over, making a couple nifty moves there. Over to Molina on the far wing. Molina heads up the far side of the pitch. Molina over to Peterson. Peterson on the far touchline. Back over to Molina. Molina sends it over to Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli over to Eitzman. Eitzman on the near wing. Back to Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli heads towards midfield, trying to feather it over. One touch over to Promoli, but that's stolen away by Vance. Vance comes up the other direction. Vance trying to fire it deep over to Welch. Welch, good job by Molina to get in the way, and that picked up by Brisbillo. Good defense by Molina. Molina gets the ball, bringing it up the far side of the pitch, over on the far touchline. To Peterson, trying to get it ahead to Berra. That played back. Grabbing it, Molina. Molina sends it right back into the 18 over to Brisbillo. Brisbillo over onto near wing to Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli heads up the center of the pitch in her own defensive third. Ticazzelli now over to Molina. Molina up the far side of the pitch. And grab Peterson coming down the far touchline. Peterson sends it back. Molina over to Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli over to Eitzman, up the near wing, back to Ticazzelli, just inside the defensive third. Ticazzelli over to Molina. Molina, center of the pitch. She sends it down the far touchline, over to Peterson. Peterson arcs it ahead. That launched and played down by Albert. Albert gets it over to Cotto. Cotto into the middle third, trying to turn on it is Dalt. Dalt has that knocked away. Berra with a good challenge, but that sent back into the defensive third for Ann Arbor. Ticazzelli ahead to Promoli in the middle third. Now back onto the near wing to Eitzman. Eitzman rolls it over to Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli over to Molina. Molina brings it ahead. Molina sends it to Peterson. Peterson back over to Molina. Molina slips it over to Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli in the center of the pitch. Now over to Eitzman on the near wing. Eitzman just inside the middle third. Back to Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli. Pressure coming. Ticazzelli gets it over to Molina. Molina heads up the far wing. Molina over to Peterson. Peterson up the far touchline. Peterson rockets it back. Is now racing over. Trying to get to it is Gamori, but Albert ushers it right into Okarafu's hands. She has it in the 18 here in the 32nd minute. 1-0. Midwest United with the lead. Soba coming over to provide pressure. And tipped back over there by Thomasma. Now coming ahead, launched down the far touchline, rocketed back the other direction by Molina. Ball on the far touchline over to Dalton. Dalton trying to get over midfield. Dalton trying to feed it through. Knocked down by Kumori. Kumori over to Promoli. Promoli back to Kumori down the near side of the pitch. On the Midwest United side of midfield, that knocked out the near touchline. Despite Midwest United's protestations, it was a AFC and Arbor's ball. Knocked down over onto the near wing. Dalt with it. Now bringing it up, Vance. Vance moves it over, back to Vance. Vance near touchline, over to Albert. Albert sends it back into the 18, over to Okarafu. Okarafu all the way over to Wilson on the far wing. Wilson back into the 18. Now Okarafu launches it into the middle third. Just over Peterson's head, going for a header. That goes out the far touchline. Guess they're going to say it touched Peterson, as that's a throw-in on the far touchline by Kata. So whistle there. Looks like that's going to be a kick by Midwest United here in the 34th minute. 1-0 Midwest United with the lead. I believe that's Wilson over there. Indeed. Getting ready to kick it away. There's the whistle. Wilson. Right foot into it. That arcs down. Hits just shy of the 18. That headed back over by Dalt. Over onto the far wing trying to get it. There's Blackburn. Blackburn trying to get the cross. Knocked away by Faug. Faug comes away with it down the far side of the pitch. Over to Soba. Soba trying to get it to Promoli. That knocked away. Good defense there by Dalton. Moves it over to Dalt. Dalt. Promoli trying to get that. Promoli ends up down on the pitch. That is going to be Ann Arbor's ball, as Promoli earns a free kick here. And moves back into the 18. Prisbillo with it. Heavy pressure by Midwest United. Ahead to Promoli. Promoli. 3 players converging on her. Ahead to Kumori. Kumori heading up the near side of the pitch. Kumori turns on it over to Cahalan, who arcs it ahead. Racing to it. Barra trying to get to it. Barra trying to get back, and diving on it was Okarafu. Here in the 35th minute, 1-0 Midwest United with the lead. Okarafu has it in the 18. Okarafu sets it down. Now Okarafu, low line drive down the pitch. Peterson heads it back over. Grabbed there by Dalt. Dalt feeds it down the far side over to Kata. Kata all the way back into the attacking third for Midwest United. Trying to poke that out. Good job back over there by Peterson to stop the rush, but that's going to be a throw-in for Midwest United. Kata has it on that far touchline. Kata trying to move it in. That play down by Welch. And that is Ann Arbor's ball. Out the far touchline. Peterson with it there. Peterson over to Molina. Molina in the far corner of her own defensive third. Molina moves it down the far side of the pitch over to Soba. Soba trying to move it back over. Grabbed by Faug. Faug over to Cahalan. Cahalan rolls it back over to Molina. Molina in her own defensive third. Across. Ticazelli has it. That tipped away. NC 18 coming in with it. That shot off the crossbar as Worthman with a shot. That one grabbed by Prisbillo. The crossbar can be a goalie's best friend or worst enemy. That one happened to help. Didn't go bar down, and we appreciate that. 1-0. Midwest United with the lead. That will roll all the way out the far touchline right in front of the Midwest United bench. Looks like Wilson over there. It's a humid day. Despite being 74 degrees, the humidity is fairly high today. So that's headed back by Peterson. That goes out the far touchline. Here in the 37th minute, 1-0 Midwest United with the 1-goal lead. And over to Dalton. Dalton up the far wing, knocked away. Good job by Faug. Right to the center. Now here comes Kumori. Kumori trying to come up the pitch. Slide tackle there, knocked away by Wilson. Now Vance trying to feed it ahead. Eitzman sends it down the near side of the pitch over to Kumori. Kumori trying to turn on him. Kumori all the way over to Faug. Faug up through the middle third. Faug over to Cahalan. Cahalan trying to avoid pressure back there by Thomasma. Rolled over to Molina. Molina has it right at midfield. Molina over to Tikazelli. Tikazelli. Now Eitzman has it on the near side of the pitch. Eitzman over to Kamori. Kamori. Pressure coming back there by Thomasma. Over to Cahalan. Now Molina has it on the far side of the pitch. Molina back over to Tikazelli. Tikazelli over to Molina here in the 38th minute. Molina gets it over to Peterson on the far touchline. Peterson over to Faug. Faug back over midfield. And that's brought ahead by Molina. Molina trying to launch it ahead, knocked down, but Promoli gets it. Promoli trying to move it over, trying to find Faug, but in the way. Kata back over. Here comes Midwest United with the counter coming ahead with it. Worthman dribbles to the left. Worthman trying to get past Eitzman. Eitzman, good challenge back there. Eitzman doing a good job to stay in the way. Worthman trying to shake free. Worthman sends a cross, grabbed by Peterson and fired and cleared all the way down the pitch. All the way back as that will go out the far touchline. Deep in the defensive third for Midwest United. Here in the 38th minute. Midwest United 1-0 over AFC and Arbor. Wilson with the throw-in on the far touchline.
We'd like to thank our title sponsor, the Bank of Ann Arbor, for their continued support of the Mighty Oak. Bank of Ann Arbor.
That is tossed in. Trying to move it over. Molina trying to get it over to Faug. Played down over there. Dalton trying to steal it away. Now that moved over to Kamori. Kamori trying to get it to Berra. That grabbed and knocked away by Kato. Kato into the 18. Berra still trying to race over. So I don't think Okarafu saw her coming. Now that launched down the near side of the pitch and out the near touchline off of Weatherman. Down, Faug has it. Faug trying to move it over to Peterson. Peterson battling back there with Blackburn as thought there was a whistle, but that fired all the way back. Grabbed by Tikazelli. Tikazelli over to Eitzman. Eitzman on the near wing. Eitzman moves it back over to Prisbillo. Prisbillo just outside the 18 over to Molina. Molina up the far side of the pitch as we're in the 40th minute here. Peterson has it on the far touchline, just shy of midfield. Back over to Molina. Molina on the far wing, gets it centered up right in the defensive third over to Tikazelli. Tikazelli over to Eitzman on the near touchline. Eitzman back into the defensive third over to Tikazelli. Tikazelli over to Molina. Molina heads up the far side of the pitch. Molina over to Peterson on the far touchline. Peterson lofts it ahead, trying to get it over to Promoli. Promoli battling as she got tangled up a little bit with Albert. That is going to be offside. Okarafu set to kick it away. Sends everyone else down the pitch. Okarafu. Now right foot into it. Arcs down the pitch. Trying to get to it. Cahalan battling back there with Thomasma. And Thomasma puts it on the far side. Kata trying to launch it into the attacking third. Tikazelli ahead to Promoli. Now Cahalan over to Faug. Faug back to Cahalan. Over. Now Peterson gets it back over to Molina. Molina in the defensive third. Molina over into the 18. Over to Prisbillo. Prisbillo. Now Tikazelli back over to Molina. Molina up the far wing. Molina over to Peterson on the far touchline. Peterson trying to rock it ahead and knocked away by Kata. Kata up the far touchline. Kata trying to lift it. Cahalan heads it in the way, but that played down by Dalt. Dalt heading back towards midfield. Grabbed by Promoli. Promoli trying to tip it ahead, but knocked back by Kata. Right over midfield, down onto the near wing, racing ahead with it. Here comes Midwest United. Vance has it up the near touchline. Vance heading towards the center of the pitch. Vance trying to get past. Cahalan has it. Cahalan into the middle third. Cahalan over to Soba, back to Cahalan. Now Promoli has it up the near wing. Promoli moves it down the near touchline. Eitzman racing ahead with it, and it just out of her reach. Dalton with the throw-in on the near touchline. Midwest United with possession here, 42 here in the 42nd minute. Midwest United up 1-0. Eitzman on the near touchline, pops it ahead. That grabbed. Vance heading the other way. Vance trying to put it towards the center of the pitch. Grabbed there by Worthman. All the way over onto the far wing as Peterson fires it out the far touchline, but in the middle third. Thrown over there by Kata. Barra trying to play it down. Peterson trying to grab it. Battle back there with Worthman. Into the 18, looking for a cross. And that all the way back onto the near wing. Racing over, Kumori has it. Kumori launches it ahead. Played down by Vance. Vance, top of the attacking third, looking for a cross. Played down over there by Welch. Welch tipped over onto the far wing. Racing for it is Welsh. Barra over there. That goes out the far touchline. Good job by Barra, using her body to protect that ball, and that is the throw-in by Peterson in her own defensive third. Here in the 43rd minute, 1-0 Midwest United with the lead over your AFC Ann Arbor Mighty Oak. As you can hear the Main Street hooligans chanting. To get the Ann Arbor crowd involved as that ball back towards midfield. Rolled over. Albert has it. Albert now over to Wilson. Wilson sends it all the way back into the defensive third over to Okarafu. Okarafu trying to lift it all the way down the pitch. That headed back over now. A whistle. And offside. Ticazelli starts it over to Molina. Molina over to Peterson on the far side of the pitch. Peterson back to Molina. Molina over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli right center of the pitch in the middle third. Over to Eitzman. Eitzman back over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli over to Molina on the far wing. Molina heads up and moves it, trying to get it to Peterson. That out the far touchline. Thrown by Midwest United here in the 44th minute. 1-0 Midwest United with the lead. It's like Wilson over for the throw-in on the far touchline as Wilson dribbles it and lets a lot of our teammates get a little further down the pitch. That arced in. Headed back up there by Blackburn. Out the far touchline. Another throw-in by Kata. Kata over to Dalton. Dalton arcs it. And deep down the far wing and out the far touchline should be Ann Arbor's ball. It is. Ann Arbor throwing on the far touchline. Peterson with it there here in the 45th minute. 40 seconds left before stoppage time. 1-0 Midwest United with the lead. Wilson fires it back. Headed up by Cahalan towards the middle third. Barra has it on the far touchline now. That arc by Peterson. Ahead, played down by Albert. Albert trying to cut to the far side of the pitch. As that's rocketed back. Peterson trying to get to it. She ends up down. That out the far touchline. Peterson a little slow to get up. She gets a hand from Molina. We are 10 seconds from stoppage time. (1-0) Midwest United with the lead. We are now in stoppage time. The ball on the far side of the pitch in the defensive third. That rocketed back. Barra trying to get to it. Played over by Wilson. Out the far touchline. Thought it went off of Wilson, but maybe not. Wilson with the throw-in on that far touchline. Again, here in stoppage, so I'm not sure how much at this moment. Wasn't a lot of stoppages during that first half, so it shouldn't probably be a lot. Coming down. And speaking of which, it was not a lot as there it is. And 1 minute of stoppage time, and we head into halftime 1-0. Midwest United with the lead here on your AFC Ann Arbor Mighty Oak. Let's play a little bit of music. We'll do a scoreboard report coming up and talk about our sponsors and more here at halftime. Let us play a bit of music here, though, and give you a break from my voice. You're watching AFC Ann Arbor, the women's squad, as it is 1-0 Midwest United heading into heading into halftime. all the wonderful, amazing sponsors of AFC Ann Arbor. That includes Arbor, Ann Arbor with Kids, your go-to source for Ann Arbor family fun. Find fun activities, events, deals, and more family fun at AnnArborWithKids.com. Soccer Shots, the youth training partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Visit the kids' play area hosted by our friends from Soccer Shots. Destination Ann Arbor and Ann Arbor Sports Commission, the tourism partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Units Moving and Storage, the official storage partner of AFC Ann Arbor. The Ann Arbor District Library. Whitfield Properties, the housing partner of AFC Ann Arbor for the last 9 years. The title sponsor of AFC Ann Arbor, Bank of Ann Arbor. 3-in-1 Fitness, the fitness partner of AFC Ann Arbor. And Diaza, the official team apparel partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Get your Diaza jerseys. You can go to AFC Ann Arbor online and have them shipped to you, or order them to be picked up at your next match. Next match is going to be on the 12th. That will be a match, USLW match. That will be not this coming Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that at 7 p.m. As we are getting ready to go here. Now Ann Arbor going from right to left. Ball set right at the middle of the pitch as we're about to get going. 1-0. Midwest United with the lead. AFC Ann Arbor looking to get this game level as quickly as they can, try and get momentum going their way. And we are underway.
And we're back.
Ball controlled over onto the near wing to Kata. Kata trying to flip it over. That goes out the near touchline. Barra with it there, Barra. We'll leave it for a throw-in. As Hollingsworth now in for Ann Arbor, coming in at halftime. Moved over to Cahalan. Cahalan chipping it all the way over onto that far side. Now moved over. Picking up back there, Ticazelli. Ticazelli gets it over to Molina. Molina up the near wing, over to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth, I believe, looks like she replaced Peterson. Promoli back over, grabbed by Molina. Molina over onto that far wing to Ticazelli. Ticazelli sends it up the far side of the pitch. Grabbed by Eitzman. Back over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli over to Molina. Molina into the middle third. Hollingsworth trying to feed it ahead to Barra. Barra racing down, trying to get to it is Kata. Kata gets it into the 18, over to Okarafu. Now all the way over into the middle third. Tip back there by Worthman. Now bringing it ahead, racing, trying to get to it is Welsh. Welsh trying to get back behind the defense. Welsh looking for a cross, firing it over. Molina chipping it out of the 18. Back over, that launched and just high and out to the near side. That will be a goal kick for Prisbillo. Well, it almost feels cooler, but temperature has raised 2 degrees since the beginning of the game. It's now 75 degrees here at Hollway Field. Still cloudy for second half action. 1-0. Midwest United with the lead here in the 47th minute. Promoli trying to get to it. That played down onto the near wing. Racing head with it is Dalton. Dalton up the near touchline. That out the near touchline. That'll be a throw-in. Hollingsworth has it on the near touchline. Hollingsworth gets it back over to Molina. Molina all the way over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli up the center of the pitch. Back over to Molina on the near wing. Molina racing head over to Hollingsworth on the near touchline. Hollingsworth trying to get it over to Cahalan. Cahalan and knocked away. Trying to come over is Welsh. Welsh down the near wing. Welsh and whistle there. That ball is set for a free kick in a place of menace here for Midwest United. Worthman ready for the kick. 3-person wall there by Ann Arbor. here in the 49th minute. 1-0, Midwest United with the lead, trying to make it 2-0. And Arbor would like to get this stopped and start a counter the other direction. High up, and that goes over the crossbar. That will be a goal kick for Ann Arbor here in the 49th minute. Down by a goal, 1-0. Brisbillo gets it set at the 6. Brisbillo back to send it away. All the way, headed right back into the attacking third. Molina feeds it over, played down, grabbing it, Worthman. Worthman coming ahead, edge of the 18, knocked away, Ticazelli. Trying to challenge now, Eitzman trying to knock that away. Eitzman trying to feed it. That went off of a Midwest United player. Great work by Eitzman. She'll launch it ahead. Faug trying to get to it. Faug. Now Eitzman trying to work through traffic. That pulled away. Soba trying to get to it. Now Kumori back over. It chipped up by Promoli trying to get it over to Soba on that far touchline, but headed back the other direction. Kicked by Worthman. And we'll go out the far. All the way down on the edge of the 18. Trying to launch it out. Okorofor trying to get to it back over there. Promoli goes out the far touchline. Promoli grabs it, looking for a quick throw-in. Big sense of urgency here for the Ann Arbor players. Launch trying to get it over to Faug in the 18 as that's sent all the way back into the middle third. Trying to head it over. That popped up by Ticazelli. Played down. Here comes Midwest United as Dalt has it through the middle third. Dalt sending it over onto the far wing. Ahead for Welsh. Welsh looking to turn on it. Welsh trying to get it into the 18. Hollingsworth knocking it away. Right out in front. Shot and picked up as Dalton had it at the midway into the 18. Fired at him, and Prisbillo with a great save. Here in the 51st minute. 1-0. Midwest United with the lead. Prisbillo. High. Arcing kick down the pitch. Faug trying to get to it. That headed the other direction by Tomasma. Back into the 18 for Prisbillo. Prisbillo gets it over to Eitzman. Ticazelli. Now over onto the near wing to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth gets it to Barra. Back over to Hollingsworth. Now Promoli trying to get through traffic. Up the near touchline. That fed over by Blackburn. Trying to move it back over to grab it was Tomasma. That comes all the way back onto the near wing, trying to arch it forward. Battle for it. Trying to get it is Eitzman. Eitzman battling with Worthman. Worthman trying to feed it ahead. Now racing down the far side of the pitch. Vance goes out the far touchline. Throw in by Eitzman. So that's lifted down, trying to. It goes out. Faug gets it back over. That'll be a throw-in. Eitzman with the throw-in on the far touchline. Right in front of the units moving in storage sign. Headed up over there by Faug. They'll blast it away the other direction by Midwest United. That goes out the far touchline. Another throw-in over there by Eitzman. Eitzman lofted, played down by Faug. Knocked the other direction. Now racing back, trying to get to it is Welch. Out the far touchline again. Eitzman with the throw-in. Eitzman gets it over as Kumori trying to battle. And flipped over, grabbed by Cahalan. Cahalan trying to move it ahead. Grabbed by Soba. Soba battling a pair of Midwest United players, trying to arc it forward to Barra. Barra challenge there, battling back with Wilson. Ball on the far touchline. Now Faug over there in a battle. Trying to get it past Tomasma. Now out the far touchline. It's a bit of a scrum over there right at midfield. Now Eitzman with the throw-in again, just shy of midfield. Headed back the opposite direction, right back out by Midwest United. Midwest United has the lead 1-0 here in the 54th minute. Moved back over, trying to into the defensive third now. Over to Kata. Kata up the near side, racing ahead with it, trying to get to a Blackburn. Blackburn sends it deep. Blackburn looking for a cross. Hollingsworth trying to get in the way. That popped up high over, and that with a little English goes out the touchline. Looked like it was going to go out the end line and then spun out the touchline. Eitzman again in for the toss down the far touchline. Now ahead with it. And Arbor trying to get it into the middle third. Kumori battling there. Kumori trying to come away with it as she got pulled a little bit from behind. That's going to be a kick for Ann Arbor as Cahalan ready to send it away. Here in the 55th minute, 1-0 Midwest United with the lead. Cahalan raises the right hand, puts the right foot into it. Promoli trying to get to it. That's sent right back to midfield. Popped up high by Dalt. Collision back over there. That will be a free kick. As Molina ended up colliding, and that will be Midwest United free kick. Dalton rolls it back over, and I believe that's Wilson who's going to get that. Looks like there's a substitution. Coming off is Dalt, number 10, the goal scorer. Coming in for Midwest United. I can't see if she would just turn around for a second so I can see the number, but thus is not the case. Okay. As soon as I get that or they announce it, I will send that to you as that's launched into the 18 and out the end line. Now over, grabbed, coming up the near wing, Molina. Over to Hollingsworth. Collard comes in for Dalt. So it was Collard who was the other player on that substitution. Here in the 56th minute. Hollingsworth trying to get it in here. 1-0 Midwest United with the lead. Soba trying to get across. Soba sending it across. Top of the 18. Now trying to get it out. There's a shot. And all the way back into the middle third, trying to get to it. Ticazelli all the way back. Ticazelli racing back, trying to get to it before Worthman. Worthman racing down the far touchline. Worthman looking for a corner, trying to head towards the center of the pitch. Worthman launches it. That goes out the end line. Worthman earned a corner. Going to be in the far corner. Kata over to take that corner. Big set piece here. Midwest United again trying to get that safety goal. They'd like to get a 2-goal lead. Right hand raised by Kata. Arced into the 18. Brisbillo gets it. She plucks that up right in the goal mouth. Brisbillo letting everyone get a little further up the pitch. Gets it over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli heading up the far wing. Back over, Molina has it. Molina up the center of the pitch, now over on the near touchline to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth back to Molina. Molina all the way over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli lofts it over to Eitzman, back to Ticazelli. Ticazelli on defensive third, over to Promoli. Promoli over to Molina. Molina up to Hollingsworth, up the near touchline. Hollingsworth now heads towards the center of the pitch. Hollingsworth pokes it over to Promoli. Promoli now moves it all the way over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli in her own defensive third. Back over to Molina. Molina into the middle third. Molina over. That launched as Hollingsworth racing down the near touchline. But that pulled away and sent out the near touchline by Wilson. That'll be a throw-in as Hollingsworth on the near touchline with the throw-in. Hollingsworth that headed back up. Hollingsworth has it on the near wing. Hollingsworth Sends a cross, played down by Kamori. Kamori trying to turn on it. Over to Promoli. Promoli over on the far wing to Faug. Faug trying to get back to Promoli. That knocked away back over there by Wilson. Popped up and out the far touchline. That is going to be a throw-in for Midwest United here in the 59th minute, 1-0. Midwest United with the 1-goal lead. Down on that far touchline, trying to move it back. Back into the 18, over for Okarafu. Okarafu launches it down the middle of the pitch. Hollingsworth trying to play it off the body, grabbed by Blackburn. Blackburn. Now roll it ahead. Poke back the other way by Molina. Now grab. Spinning back with it is Tamesma. Now grabbed away by Promoli. Promoli right at midfield. Over to Cahalan. Cahalan trying to get it to Berra. Knocked away by Kata. Now ahead. Faug trying to move it in, but a whistle. Midwest United will a free kick right on the edge of the middle third here in the 60th minute. 1-0. Midwest United with the lead. Albert over to Wilson. Wilson on the near side of the pitch. Back over to Albert. Albert heads towards the far side of the pitch. Albert gets over midfield down the middle. Albert launches it as that goes into the far corner. Racing for it. Eitzman trying to get to it first. And will go along, grabbing it, trying to fire it ahead is Worthman. Worthman gets it back. There's a cross. Knocked away by Molina. Played down over there by Dalton. Dalton gets it over to Kata. Kata. And poked away by Berra. Berra racing over. Grab the other direction. Control back over by Dalton. Challenged by Berra. Now pulled up by Hollingsworth and out the near touchline. Throw in by Kata on this near touchline, just in the middle third. Hollingsworth trying to head it back right over Blackburn. Grab that head into the near corner. Thomasma trying to turn on it. Poked and out the near touchline. There'll be a throw-in for Midwest United. Here in the 61st minute. Midwest United up 1-0. Switch it and Kata will throw it in the near touchline. Kata lofts it into the 18. That moved all the way back over, trying to play it down back over there, grabbing it, and Arbor trying to bring it ahead as good battle back there by Soba. Out the near touchline, Promoli with it. She'll leave it there for Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth comes over. She'll have it right at midfield. Over to Promoli. Promoli rolls it over to Molina. Molina launches it all the way back to Prisbillo. Prisbillo stops it over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli up the far side of the pitch, over to Eitzman, back to Ticazelli. Ticazelli in her own defensive third. Ticazelli over to Molina. Molina up the center of the pitch. Molina now launches it all the way down the near touchline as Soba back there trying to get to it, as that will go out the near touchline. Wilson making sure it was last touched by Ann Arbor. Quick throw in by Wilson over to Okarafu. Okarafu just outside the 18, arcs it down the near side of the pitch. Hollingsworth with the head. That goes out the near touchline. Throw in for Midwest United. Kata with the throw in. Over there, Dalton trying to feed it down the center of the pitch. Picked up, tipped back there by Worthman. Racing down the far wing, trying to get over. As I believe that's Collard trying to get the cross. That knocked out the far touchline. Collard with the throw-in. Headed over by Eitzman. Trying to bring it ahead. It's Faug. Faug battling as that's poked out by Vance. Out. I thought it was Vance who last touched it. Must have been Midwest United. No, they're going to call a free kick again in the attacking third.
Let's go, Blue.
Official saw something. Here comes a free kick inside the attacking third by Kata. Arcs into the 18, headed up and out the end line. That will be a goal kick. The ball to Prisbilla. We enter the 64th minute here at Hollway Field. It is 1-0 Midwest United with the lead. Here comes Molina up the near side of the pitch. Molina over to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth around the edge of the defensive third. Back to Molina. Molina over to Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli now on the far wing. Ticazzelli back over to Molina. Molina heads up the pitch. Molina into the middle third, trying to loft it ahead. That headed back as Soba trying to get to it. Back over to Soba. Good head over there by, I believe that was Faug. Now Promoli trying to get to it. Faug comes back over. Grabbed by Molina. Molina over to Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli just inside her own defensive third. Over to Eitzman. Eitzman back over to Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli now over to Cahalan. Cahalan dribbles to her right. Cahalan trying to get around traffic. Cahalan launches it down. Barra racing back, trying to get to it. Pulled back over there and sent into the 18 and lofted by Okarafu. Back right to midfield, trying to turn on it. Welch trying to move it all the way back. That out the far touchline. Throw in by Ann Arbor here in the 65th minute. Poke back by Faug. Out the far touchline. Thrown there by Midwest United. Played down. Faug moves it over on the far touchline to Eitzman. Eitzman trying to rocket it back as Albert chases it back into her own defensive third. Gets it back over to Okarafu. Okarafu arcs it ahead. That popped up by Molina. Right over midfield. Headed back the other direction by Worthman. Now blasted forward by Thomasma. Over there, Thomasma trying to get it down the pitch. Cahalan providing the challenge. Moved over. Excellent job. Ticazzelli with a good challenge and knocking that away. Good job there. Throw in. Midwest United deep in the attacking third. Down that chipped back. Arced into the 18. Headed up. Over onto the near wing. At grabbed. Here comes Barra. Barra racing down the near wing. Barra into the middle third. Barra arcs it over to Promoli. Promoli trying to avoid pressure. Promoli gets it all the way launched over. Played down by over trying to get to it. Kumori back over there. Kumori trying to get it over to Faug. Played down, knocked the other direction by Dalton. Racing ahead with it. Here comes Welch. Welch trying to get around Ticazzelli. Knocked away by Molina. And over to Blackburn. Blackburn shoots it. That goes wide. Just a touch high to the near side of the near post. Here in the 67th minute, 1-0 Midwest United with the lead.
AFC and Arbor matches courtesy of our partners at DTE Energy.
Ball set at the 6. Prisbillo ready to send it away. Barra with it. Barra over to Promoli. Promoli in the middle third. Promoli gets it back over to Cahalan. Cahalan moves it over to Kumori. Stolen away by Worthman. Worthman down the far touchline. Worthman rockets it back and racing over, trying to get to it. That chip taken down by Prisbillo. She knocks it down and grabs it in the 18. Quickly rolling it over to Promoli. Promoli trying to get to Barra. Barra racing ahead with it, but that's stolen away. Sent the other direction back there by Wilson. Out the near touchline, Hollingsworth with it there. Hollingsworth gets it over to Molina. Here in the 68th minute, launched ahead, headed back the other direction. Faug has it down. Going to grab it is Blackburn. Blackburn lofts it ahead. Tipped there by Welsh. Welsh trying to get around Ticazzelli. Played back over to Wirenga. Wirenga trying to feed it across. Is that fired? And that will go just wide to the near post. Good chance by Midwest United to make it a 2-goal lead, but just a touch wide here. Prisbillo has it set. Steps back to get a little bit of room to work. Brisbillo lofts it up high. Promoli heads it down. Berra trying to get to it. That's sent back, moved over onto the near wing to Blackburn. Blackburn up the near touchline. Blackburn cuts towards the center of the pitch. Blackburn trying to move it over. That grab back over by Tomisma. Now there's a shot by, that was Worthman with it. Knocked down as Brisbillo has it in the 18th. Brisbillo launches it up high. Pops back over onto the far wing. Worthman with it. Worthman trying to bring it ahead. Worthman down the far wing as Ticazelli slide tackles that out, and that will go, believe that's going to be a throw in. Hard to tell. That was right at the flag. Here in the 70th minute. Throw in just inside that far corner, trying to play it up as Welch. Out the far touchline, throw in by Eitzman. Eitzman on the far touchline here in the 70th minute, 1-0. Midwest United with the lead. Back out the far touchline, Eitzman with it. Played down and out. Off a Collard grab. Eitzman again. Back over, launching it. That knocked down, trying to bring it ahead. It's Tomisma. All the way down. Okarafu has it in the 18. Okarafu trying to bring it ahead. That headed up by Cahalan. Now moving it over. Molina gets it over to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth chips it back. Now Cahalan back over to Molina. Molina trying to avoid heavy pressure by Midwest United. That launched all the way back by Cotta. Now Ticazelli gets it over to Molina. Molina. Herrera in for foul. Kottmeyer in for Soba. Kottmeyer. Again, the youngest goal scorer in AFC Ann Arbor history. That a record that 3 years ago already, Chloe Ricketts had that title. She's doing fantastic with the Washington Spirit. We wish her all the luck and love to watch from afar at her fantastic abilities. I can't wait to see what Kottmeyer can do, as she is already proving to be quite a talented player. Ticazelli rolls it over. That's sent back over by Eitzman to Ticazelli. Ticazelli here in this 72nd minute, 1-0, Midwest United with the lead. Hollingsworth has it on the near touchline. Hollingsworth over midfield. Hollingsworth heads up the pitch. Hollingsworth trying to move it over. Grabbed by Berra. Berra back to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth trying to move over as Cotta uses her body to get in the way and fire that out the near touchline. Throw in as Hollingsworth has it there. Hollingsworth over to Berra. Berra gets it over to Kimura. Kimura back over to Promoli. Promoli moves that as trying to play it back over. Herrera trying to get it ahead to Promoli. That's stolen away and fired back by Midwest United. Popped over. Here comes Molina. Molina has it. Right over midfield. Molina arcs that ahead. Headed back right towards midfield. Popped up by Cahalan. Launched down back over there by Wieringa. As that'll roll back and offside the call. Here comes Molina. Molina over to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth has it. Hollingsworth rolls it back over to Molina. Molina just over midfield. Molina gets it over. Ticazelli over to Eitzman. Back to Ticazelli. Ticazelli just in the middle third. Back over Eitzman. Trying to bring it ahead. That fed all the way down. Oh, Berra right there. And that Stolen away back there by Albert. Albert down the far touchline. And will go out. And Arbor with the throw-in. Launched all the way back deep. Racing back. Trying to get to it back there. Trying to battle is Kopmeyer. Out the far touchline. And it'll be a throw-in. Eitzman trying to get to it. Poke back over. Kopmeyer trying to grab it. That fired all the way down. Down the near touchline trying to grab that is Welch. Knocked back, battle for it on the far touchline. That will be a throw-in for Midwest United here in the 74th minute. 1-0 Midwest United with the lead here at Hollway Field. That is going to be a free kick for Midwest United. Lofted all the way back deep. As that will go out the end line. Goal kick for Ann Arbor. Prisbilla will get it and set it at the 6. Here comes Molina. Molina heads towards the center of the pitch. Gets it over. Ticazzelli. Over to Eitzman. Eitzman back over. Ticazzelli now over to Molina. Molina. And a feed it ahead. And back over by Herrera. Now Eitzman over on the far wing. That tipped by Worthman. Ticazzelli ahead. Flipped over to Eitzman and out the far touchline. Eitzman throws it in the far touchline. Popped down by Berra. Moved back. Trying to get to it, Herrera. Tipped over by Berra, now trying to pull it back. Berra trying to dispossess as that fed ahead. Good job by Cahalan to steal that away. Now turning with it, Herrera. Sent ahead by Berra, now launched down, headed up, popped up by Blackburn. Now Hollingsworth plays it down off the body, but a whistle. Free kick here. Worthman set up there with, trying to catch the other player. There's, I believe that's Kata. Just her shoulders right to me. 4-person wall there for AFC Ann Arbor. Here in the 76th minute. As that popped up in the 18, headed over, but that out. Wide to the far post. Prisbillo gets it set at the 6. Here comes Molina up the center of the pitch. Molina over to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth back over to Molina. All the way over to Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli now heads up the center of the pitch. Back over to Molina. Molina brings it ahead. Molina over onto the near touchline to Hollingsworth in the middle third. Hollingsworth over. Kamori launches it back to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth coming ahead with it. Hollingsworth trying to get past a pair of defenders. She ends up down on the pitch. Kata has it. Played over onto the far wing. Albert launches it. Popped down by Herrera, trying to get to a Cahalan. Fired ahead by Welch. Played down by Cahalan. Battle for it. Scrum right at the middle, right at the center line. Tomisma all the way down. That fired back by Welch. Now launched all the way back and out the far touchline. We are in the 78th minute. 1-0 Midwest United with the lead here at Hollway Field. AFC Ann Arbor wants the equalizer, but Midwest United has it. Chipping it into the attacking third all the way down, and that should go out the near touchline. Throw it by Ann Arbor. Hollingsworth right on the near touchline. Hollingsworth looks up the pitch. Hollingsworth trying to arc it. Berra plays it off of the top of her head. Promoli trying to arc it ahead. That grab by Wilson and lofted back into the attacking third. Play back over by Molina. Molina trying to thread it through traffic over to Cahalan. Cahalan up into the middle third. Over to Kamori. Kamori gets it to Berra. Berra trying to play it away. That grab by Waringa. Waringa. And blasted all the way back by Eitzman. And trying to play it down. Berra launching it, coming ahead with it. Here comes Kopmeyer. Kopmeyer coming ahead. Kopmeyer with the right foot and just trying to get across. As that's, she's dispossessed. Pair of defenders battling with her, and that goes out the far touchline. Heitzman popped up. Trying to battle for it over there is Herrera, played down. Soba trying, or excuse me, not Soba, that fired all the way back. Tikazelli gets it over. Herrera still battling. Herrera pulled away. Cahalan trying to get to a tip by Eitzman that goes out the far touchline. That will be a throw in by Midwest United. Lofted in, headed over. Eitzman over to Cahalan. Cahalan right back into the middle third. Headed back, popped up there by Dalton into the attacking third as Herrera gets it back. Now lifted by Eitzman, headed up high by Kopmeyer. And down the far touchline and out. Here comes another substitution. Permoli heading off for Ann Arbor. And Palmer heading in. So Palmer replaces Permoli. Set of fresh legs as we're in the 80th minute. 1-0 Midwest United with the lead. Ann Arbor wants to get this game leveled. Eitzman with the throw-in on the far touchline. Eitzman lofts it over to Cahalan. Cahalan trying to fire it ahead. That off of a Midwest United player. Eitzman again to throw it right in the middle third. Midwest United side. Pop down. Herrera trying to get to it. That fed ahead. Here comes Welch. Welch trying to feed it. That popped back. Now trying to get it over there. That fed over. Good job by Herrera over to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth up the near side of the pitch. Hollingsworth ends up getting run up on it. That will be a free kick as Herrera, as it's set to fire it away here in the 81st minute.
Yellow card on Midwest United, number 11.
Yellow card on Worthman from Midwest United, so she's in the book. There's the whistle. Molina over to Tikazelli. Tikazelli over. That's grabbed. Trying to fire to head Cahalan. Now Palmer back to Cahalan. Cahalan just at midfield. Tikazelli over to Molina. Molina just inside the middle third. Over to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth tips it back over. Grabbed by Kumori. Kumori over to Molina. Molina moves it over to Tikazelli. Tikazelli rolls it, gets it back from Herrera. Tikazelli puts it on the far touchline over to Eitzman. Back, trying to move it over to Herrera. Herrera back over to Eitzman on the far touchline. Back to Tikazelli. Tikazelli moves it over to Molina right on the edge of the defensive third. Molina heads up the pitch. Molina approaching midfield over that tip back, grabbing it. Kumori. Kumori ends up down on the pitch. Hollingsworth has it, trying to fire it ahead, but that rocketed the other direction. All the way back, and that'll roll out the end line. That'll be a goal kick here as we are heading into the 83rd minute. 1-0. Midwest United has the lead. Cahalan has it. Now lofted all the way down, played down, popped up by Berra. Racing ahead, Kopmeyer back to try and get it away from Collard. Kopmeyer ends up down on the pitch. The flag points Midwest United's way, and AFC and Arbor fans voice their thoughts on the matter. That ends up being a free kick by Midwest United. Popped up over there by Tomasma. Out the far touchline. Throw in there down the far touchline. Now pop up by Welsh. Moved back, trying to get it over to Wieringa. Wieringa here in the 84th minute. Poked away, down, controlled there, trying to turn on it. Kata. Moves it over to Blackburn. Blackburn looking for a cross. Hollingsworth trying to stay in front. That out. The near touchline.
Here we go, Blue.
That's going to be a corner here.
Come on, Blue, punch it in.
Corner here.
Come on, Blue.
And to take this corner is Worthman. Raises both hands, left foot into it. As that goes over the 18 and out the far touchline. Thomasma trying to get to it, but that goes out the far touchline. Quick throw in. We're in the 85th minute here, 1-0 Midwest United with the lead. Certainly a sense of urgency for Ann Arbor as Midwest United hanging on to it in the attacking third, heading down the far touchline. Trying to cross ahead. I think that's Blackburn. Cross there. Pop by Molina. That goes out the end line. That will be a corner. Kata goes over to the far corner. Ball set here as we're heading into the 86th minute. Popped up, popped and punched out by Prisbillo. Still control back here. Is trying to turn on it. And sent right out the near touchline. That was, I believe, now a number of players coming in for Midwest United. Going out is Kata, Welsh. Out for Ann Arbor, by the way, and Gotti comes in. Medaj for the throw-in on the near touchline. As soon as they're announced, we'll get you those substitutions. It's a tough one for people coming for me to see and do the play-by-play. Medaj on the near touchline looking for a cross.
Number 17, Gotti replaces number 8, Amy Kamori.
And Gotti replaces Kamori, excuse me. So Kamori out and Gotti in. Back over there, quick throw in by Wieringa on the far touchline. Midwest United trying to keep possession in the attacking third that headed out off of Cahalan. Another throw in for Midwest United here in the 87th minute. Time a big factor here. As Eitzman trying to get it, Cahalan knocking it away, firing it all the way down, Barrow with it. Now that lofted all the way back by Kopmeyer. Down, and Gotti trying to chase it. That goes out, but that'll be all the way back in the middle third on Midwest United's side. Lofted all the way in, knocked down and out. We're in the 88th minute.
For Midwest United, number 27, Jada Burgeon replaces number 2, Madison
Burgeon
Kata.
in for Kata.
Number 18, Ava Mataj replaces number 16,
Mataj
Jenna Blackburn.
in
And
for
number
Blackburn.
29, Morgan Wilcox replaces number 12.
And Wilcox in for Welsh.
Here you go, Jay.
And Molina trying to move it over, headed back over to Cahalan. Cahalan gets it over to Palmer. Palmer back over to Molina. Molina bringing it up the pitch. 2.5 minutes left before stoppage time as that's rocketed right back. Played down over there by Worthman. Trying to steal it away. That move back over to Palmer. Palmer puts it on the far touchline. Eitzman gets it back. Herrera back over to Eitzman. Eitzman chips it over to Tikazelli. Now here comes Hollingsworth up the near touchline as she goes down to the pitch. And it's going to be a kick for Ann Arbor. We are in the 89th minute. 1 minute and 50 seconds left before stoppage time. Played down in the attacking third, launched back by Dalton. That'll bounce all the way back down into Ann Arbor's defensive third. That will go out the far touchline. Ticazelli will have it on the far touchline. Now over to Eitzman. Eitzman with the throw-in. She gets it into the middle third. Headed up on that far touchline and out. Eitzman again with the throw-in. 1 minute, 20 seconds left before stoppage time. Again, another throw-in by Ann Arbor. Deep in the middle third. Eitzman lofts it into the attacking third. Headed back, right out by Midwest United. 1 minute left before stoppage time. Arced up high, right back towards midfield, out the far touchline. 50 seconds left before stoppage time. Played back over. Ticazelli lofts it all the way, headed back. Now Palmer trying to head it forward. That goes out the far touchline, throw-in by Midwest United. 30 seconds left before stoppage time. That's lofted ahead, trying to get to it as that's launched forward into the attacking third, volleyed the other direction. Ticazelli back trying to get to it before Vance can. Brisbillo lofts it ahead. 5 seconds until stoppage time, and we are now in stoppage time. In the attacking third, knocked away by Ticazelli. Ticazelli trying to move it ahead. Barra with it. Barra trying to move it over. Grabbed by Dalton. 2 minutes of stoppage time here as Ann Arbor needs a goal quickly to get this game level. Try and salvage a point here. Ticazelli over onto the far wing. Eitzman rockets it ahead into the middle third. Angotti playing it down. Angotti on the far touchline as that goes out as she was collared, ended up kind of with a challenge there. That is Midwest United's ball. Popped up high. Again, we are in stoppage time. That out the far touchline. Ann Arbor with the throw-in. We're inside 2 minutes of stoppage time. Vaulted, and that sent over the scoreboard all the way back. They're going to have to send a search team for that ball. Now Eitzman with the throw-in. Here in stoppage time. Ticazelli back over to Eitzman. Eitzman trying to loft it ahead. Played down over there by Koppmeyer, out the far touchline. Played over, popped up, trying to get to a Palmer. Heads it, now it's racing over, trying to get to it. Angotti played ahead, launched. Here comes Angotti trying to run back. Angotti trying to battle with Albert. Albert sends it out the far touchline. And here in stoppage time, Barra with it on the far touchline. Barra trying to get across. That blasted all the way back into the middle third. Headed back into the attacking third now. Volleyed. Molina has it right at midfield. Molina moves it over. Herrera back over. Here comes Cahalan. Cahalan trying to loft it ahead. Played down. As that is the game. 1-0. So your final in this USLW match. AFC Ann Arbor 0 and Midwest United 1. As it's been home sweet home recently, but with the men's game ending in a 0-0 draw and this game ending in a 1-0 draw, goals have been hard to come by this weekend. I do want to thank my camera people, Megan Wiseman and James Wiseman. Mike Butler, our director. Remember, the next game is the 12th. That is going to be here at Hollway Field, the next home game, obviously. You can go out on the road. We'd love that to hear you cheer on. But the next home game is the 12th versus Flint City AFC. It's a USLW match, so the women's squad at 7 p.m. That's not this Wednesday, but the next Wednesday. Thank you very much, whichever team you cheered for. We are very grateful for your support. Thank you to Bank of America, the title sponsor, and all of the sponsors of AFC Ann Arbor. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, folks. We will be back on air in 10 days. Not this Wednesday, but the next Wednesday. Take care and have a great night, everybody.